If this is you and your foot is cramping, trying to do mobility or strengthening or even release techniques on your foot, keep watching. I'm going to show you guys a few ways to hopefully increase the mobility and circulation in your foot and give you a better connection to your whole body, movement patterns, your pelvic floor, and your nervous system. Alrighty, all you foot freaks, here is your favorite part. Let's talk about specifically mobilizing this joint here. Now, I have injured my big toe quite a few times and dealt with a lot of rigidity, stiffness, points where I couldn't even push off of this. Number one, check your mobility just by physically pulling it back. If you cannot get into this nearly 90-degree angle, we need to start working on breaking up this area here and here. A lot of the times when people are tight in this part of the foot, this relates to the shoulder blade, and they're also going to have a lot of tension on their shoulder blade, usually on the same foot. So I like to get in right under this area here on the bone, and then I will literally use the pressure of my thumb. Usually this is kind of where bunions will build up too, on this outside callus. And then when we get bunions, the toe starts to pull inward. This is telling me a lot about your pelvic floor and even your jaw placement. So the fascial system's a fully connected system. So we really want to start from the ground up. So again, I'm using my thumb on this little thicker part here. It should be pretty sensitive if you are someone who's cramping during this mobility. And I'm mobilizing the stem of my toe. You may hear cracks and pops. A lot of the time, this top joint here is going to be really, really tight, even up into what feels like the nail bed. So work on kind of pinching and circulating and mobilizing using firm pressure. And you can even get in here like this. But what I find the best is to get in between the metatarsals here, work on this fascia. A lot of the tension can come into the heel. So guys, don't be scared. You really can't do this wrong, okay? You really can't do this wrong. So this is gonna be a mobile way of using some release techniques without tools. So I'm really working on the transverse part of my foot, this arch of my foot up into where we would say the shoulder blade is. This is kind of representing the shoulder blade. This part of the toe is going to represent our neck, and this top part's our head. So a lot of the time when I'm working on people's toes on my table, I'm almost pressing down into the top of it, trying to relieve the tension in this top part of the joint. So if you have calluses here or here, in my experience, I don't think we can totally make them go away, but we can create a lot of mobility in this big toe by kind of pinching and anchoring at the joint and then mobilizing. If you have access to an infrared light, please do this in front of there. It will only increase how things work with those tissues warming up. I do want to mention while you're doing that, if you have a red light or if you don't, try to use castor oil to mobilize and have that as a lubricant. That castor oil will penetrate down to the muscle and help relieve the tension even more. It's also a very healing and moisturizing type of oil. So you can use some castor oil while you're trying to release the big toe or the foot. After you do that a few times, I want you to kind of bend and scrunch the toes. You may be cramping here. This tells me one of two things. One, that your foot's just been trapped into a tight toe shoebox like this for too many years. You can see how the bunion would be created here if I pull all my toes together. The only part of my foot that can work is this little knob here. So get a better shoe if that's you. If you have narrow feet, which I definitely don't, I got Fred Flintstone feet, I need you to start being able to mobilize. And you can do this with each little digit. Number two, if you are cramping doing any of this, you are dehydrated. So freaking drink more water, get some electrolytes or some natural sea salt in your water. We're gonna go over some standing ways to release the toe, but my suggestion is always start on this big joint here, pin right where the bones meet, and mobilize at the neck and through those two joints in the toe. You can even move up to this joint and start mobilizing there. But this is really where you should start, is getting blood flow, circulation, and breaking up any fascial tension in this big toe area. Okay, we are moving on to some standing release techniques. I can almost guarantee a lot of you are also going to cramp in the foot here, so go slow. This is a really unfamiliar position for a lot of people's feet, so just take it for what it is and work your way through that. Hydration is really key here, but this is going to involve the entire fascial system, so watch closely. So basically all you're going to do is you're going to go laces down and start mobilizing your toes and your ankle. and rolling it in circles, really getting that big toe involved. You can even bring it up into this arm here. So toes down and then stretch the arm. Remember, all this fascia is connected. So you kind of gotta get weird with it. And just, you notice how I'm kind of moving somatically. I know it looks weird, but I promise you it feels good when you do it right and you do it consistently. But really just toes down here. If you're someone who has shin splints, calf pain, tight Achilles, ankle instability, foot cramping, do this exercise. I promise you, outside of rolling out the plantar part, the flat bottom part of your foot, opening up this top part of your foot, this dorsal part, it's gonna open up the shins, look at the whole front deep line, your pelvic floor. I also like to anchor my foot, creating a tripod with my big toe, my pinky, and my heel, and then kind of like move back and forth, and you can get some cracks out of your ankles. But the real thing here is just going laces down, and this is gonna be really painful for a lot of people. A lot of my clients who work desk jobs, aren't super athletic, are always in shoes or high heels, this is going to be painful. So go slow. Do not rush this. I'm trying to go a little quicker because it's a video and I gotta hold your attention, but go slow and allow your breath to guide you through all of this. We are trying to relax the nervous system and create a better connection from head to toe. So let me know if you have any more questions on release. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I touch bodies for a living and I love helping people. So if you have a question, leave it below. My goal is to avoid surgery in all cases. And I think a lot of this is just getting to know your own body and feeling when things are tight and stopping a problem before it's too hard to solve and we need to have medical intervention. Okay, bonus if you made it to this part of the video, we're gonna do one more little ankle mobility. So you can kind of just sit like this and hang your foot over your other ankle and mobilize like this. Notice how I'm moving my toes. Try to give me like a thumbs up and see how I can move that second joint. So again, my foot's cramping a little bit. This is, you know, you can even weave your fingers in between each toe. I have really tiny toes, so this is hard to do. But kind of hold your, and then mobilize. This is gonna be really, really painful for a lot of you, especially getting into this pinky and second digit down at the end of our foot here. But using your opposite leg as a kind of anchor fulcrum point. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can hear, my camera has pretty good speaker on it, but I am cracking and popping. So this is another good place to start. This is a good place to start. A good place to start is that one. I'm gonna show you one more. This is a little thing I learned from jujitsu, and this is something that we all deal with when we start our sport, and everyone's feet cramp. Mine still do it sometimes. So one more and then we'll end the video. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You are gonna have super mobile feet and be extremely connected to your body. So we're gonna be essentially sitting like this. This is where I would sit if I was in someone's garden jiu-jitsu. We're gonna take it a step further and we're gonna flex and extend and then sit. And you know, I've been doing this sport for, you know, almost 15 years at this point, so this is not that hard for me. But I promise you, most normies who are non-grapplers, this is gonna fucking murder you. You're gonna be screaming in pain, especially this part of your toe, this big digit. Good Lord. Good Lord. Good luck, actually. Good luck. It's gonna take some time to get used to this, but just going in and out of this flexed dorsal flexion position, oh my goodness. And then just kind of doing the inverse of that and putting the knuckles down and sitting on it. The body likes balance. So after we go into extension, try to go into flexion of the toes. Good luck, have fun, stay hydrated, and leave a comment below if you have questions.